Hi everyone, today we're going to be reading the book The Smallest Girl in the Smallest Grade, written by Justin Roberts and illustrated by Christian Robinson. So before we begin reading, I want you all to take a look at the cover and tell me what you notice, what you see. So with Robinson's colored pencil illustrations, we can clearly see that all the kids seem happy, they're smiling. We even notice this little girl right here with her hand up. Um, so I want you to keep in mind as we read why she might have her hand up in this picture. Okay, let's compare the title page to the cover page. What do you notice that's different from this illustration from the cover page? So we can see here that these kids are obviously pushing each other, right? They look a little meaner. They don't look as happy as they did on the cover. And we also see that this little girl that had her hand up is watching them. So I wonder what that might be about. So let's continue reading and see if our questions can be answered. So, hardly anyone noticed young Sally McCabe. So, I want you to take a look at this image, and what do you see? If you look, you can see that that someone's pushing another kid. This one looks like he's yelling at somebody. These two look like they're fighting over the basketball. And if you look, Sally's watching it. She's seeing all of this, okay? She was the smallest girl in the smallest grade. So if we look right here, we can see her right here. She's obviously much shorter than everyone else, right? Sure, her name could be heard in the daily roll call, and she marched with her books down the same school hall, but hardly anyone noticed young Sally McCabe. And they certainly didn't know, or at least didn't mention, that Sally was paying super extra special attention. I wonder what she's paying attention to. To the abandoned kite with the tangled string, to the 27 keys on the janitor's ring, to the leaves as they turn green to gold in the fall, to the time Tommy Torino was tripped in the hall. That's not very nice that someone tripped him, right? She watched as the wildflowers tipped toward the light, and heard the howl of a hound dog late one night. She was there when the stray cats who normally fought conducted a meeting in the church parking lot. So she's still watching everyone, right? She's paying attention to everything. She sees a lot of things. She saw Kevin McQueen get pushed off a slide and the oncoming tears that he wanted to hide. So this isn't very nice, right? He got pushed off the slide and Sally's watching this. And she'll never forget that parent-teacher day when Billy's much larger father suddenly dragged him away. You can see his father right there dragging him away, and Sally's watching this too, right? But through all the mean words and all the cold stares, no one even noticed that Sally was there. And they certainly didn't know, or at least didn't mention, that Sally was paying extra special attention. So we see here, what do we see on this image? Right, we see the same thing that we've kind of seen on the other playground. Kids are still being mean. She has this mean look on her face and she pushed him down. And Sally's right here watching all of this, okay? She'd seen how a whisper can make someone cower, like a bulldozer crushing through fields of wildflowers, and it kept piling up, this discarded debris, those beautiful kites tangled in trees. So everything's just getting worse and worse. So on February 3rd at 11:29, Sally stepped straight out of the lunchroom line. wonder why she did that. She said, "I'm tired of seeing this terrible stuff. Stop hurting each other. This is enough." Now, if you laughed out loud or didn't care that there was some girl with her hand in the air. But then something super extra special happened that day as Howard O. Henry suddenly set down his tray. So what do we notice here? Right, we see that she has her hand up in the air, so maybe that's why she had it up there. What is she trying to solve? How is she solving this problem of everyone being mean? Right, she's standing up to her friends and she's saying that this is wrong. Okay, and she's trying to point out maybe help them try to treat each other better. Like waves rolling in, one after another, first Molly rose up, then Michael's twin brother. It was Tyrone and Terence, then Amanda and Paul, who pushed out their chairs and stretched their arms tall. From the friendly lunch lady with the dishes she carted, to that new third-grade teacher who had only recently started. Yes, everyone there, even Principal Claire, had joined little Sally with their fingers in the air. And though hound dogs were destined to howl at night, and most stray cat meetings would end up as fights, and kites would continue to get stuck in trees, they all felt for a moment like the janitor's keys, fastened together with a heavy steel ring that held all the secrets to unlock everything. So if we notice this picture, what can we see? The kite had been stuck in the tree before, and now we see that the janitor's getting it unstuck, so maybe things are getting better. He's doing a kind act by helping them get their kite unstuck. As the world returned to the way that it was, Sally noticed the difference, as she usually does, when Billy paused briefly to open the door for Mrs. O'Connell and 17 more. I'll move this over here so y'all can see the picture. Or when Molly scooched over to make some space on the coral riser for Ellen and Grace. These moments that often get taken for granted, a wildflower appearing that no one had planted. So we see some differences in the way people are behaving, right? They're opening the door for each other, they're being kinder than they were before. The swing soon resumed their rhythm and sway, and day turned to night, and night turned to day. People remembered, and would quite often mention, that Sally had been paying super extra special attention, and how the world could transform, and a change could be made by the smallest girl in the smallest grade. So what do you notice about this picture that's different than the last picture of the playground? So everyone was being mean in the other one. Remember, someone was pushing another one down a slide, pushing someone on the hopscotch. And now what do we see? Right, we see that they're taking turns, they're sharing the basketball, they're not pushing each other, and even Sally's joined in. If you see right here, she's joining in on playing instead of watching everyone be mean to each other. And again, they're being nice to each other, and we even see that they're playing with the kite that the janitor helped them get out of the tree. So, what do you notice about how Sally's actions helped her? How did it help the school? Right, everyone, she was brave and she stood up for what was right, and she saw that everyone's behavior towards each other was wrong. And we see that she helped the school by helping them be nice to others, be kind, think about what others might need over their own needs, and really just become more helpful in general. So, what lesson did Sally teach us? What can we learn from this? Right, so we can learn to treat others kinder, and that if we take a stand against other people who maybe aren't treating people as kind, that we can make a difference and help them see that it's better to be kind than it is to be mean. So I want you to leave you with this last question to think about, and we'll talk about it later. How can we use this understanding at our own school? I want you to brainstorm some ways that we can start behaving in our own school to spread this kindness. Thank you, everyone.